So I know some of y'all are expecting me to be on Lauren's side. Um, and to say that Orion was being oversensitive and she didn't do it on purpose and let's educate her and all that type of stuff. No, let's call a spade a spade. Lauren was wrong and she laughed in that man's face. If the roles were reversed, if the roles were reversed and he called her the N word, we would be having a fit. So we gonna have a fit with this one too. What's good, y'all? I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 5. Take me down to Paradise City. If you're brand new to the channel or a returning viewer that is not yet subscribed, I hope that this is the video that convinces you to go ahead and subscribe and become a member of the Tamily. So, I need 25 of y'all from this video. At least 25 of y'all go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Membership is open. I have 2 different tiers. If you want to join, awesome. If you don't, awesome as well. Let's get into it. So, Orion and Lauren. So the couples are all hanging out. The honeymoon is now started. We're there. Everybody is now siloed off with their respective partners. So everybody is meeting up. This is the one time we see them all together in a group this episode. And Lauren is saying how she's already really attracted to Orion. Now, do I think that Orion thinks Lauren is beautiful? I do. Do I think that he's overly physically and sexually attracted to Lauren? I do not. I don't, because a lot of the times when he has said it at the reunion, to me it came across very fake and forced. And then the other times it's really her. So they're talking about in the group about sex and when they're gonna have sex. What pace is everybody going? Lauren wants to wait to have sex until they get to the point where their intimacy is so strong and their connection is so, magnetic that they are just ripping each other's clothes off. Orion seems okay with that. So Lauren and Orion are hanging out in the pool later, and he tells her that his main priority is making sure that she feels safe with him. That's the first and foremost thing, because at the end of the day, above everything else, these are strangers, right? So they both agree that they want one kid together and they are open to adoption, which is awesome. They want to continue getting to know each other and understanding each other. And then they turn around and say, we're good at marriage until later. Until later, this episode at that. Y'all were good at marriage in that moment, I guess. But okay. Orion wants to watch her put her edges down. Why? And I told y'all before, I don't want to hear her blaxplain everything to him because it's kind of unnecessary. Your man does not need to know what it means to lay your edges down. He does not need to know how you lay your edges down, right? I think it was weird for him to say, "Can I watch you do it?" I thought it was equally as weird for her to give a step-by-step example to him as if he's going to go in the bathroom and mimic and lay his own edges down. It was just weird to me. It was weird. There are times when you're doing your hair and your dude is right there and he's watching you, and men are going to pick up on things that you're doing. Okay, that's what she got the little gel and toothbrush out. She gonna do her edges and shit. That type of stuff. But for you to, whatever, I don't even care. I don't care. So then we have they're hanging out in a hammock and they start talking about gender roles, and Orion wants to know if Lauren believes in gender roles. She said that she does. She doesn't think that she should be the one cooking all the time, but she does want to, cook for her man in that type of capacity. She also feels that he should be the provider. So y'all know this whole provider conversation is always it turns into a big ordeal because men wonder why women want them to be the sole provider, but women also want to be independent. So it always turns into an ordeal. But he initially said that he wants it to be 80-20 with him, but he's just not there yet. So then he tries to flip it to like 60-40. And this be real, that's quite the jump. 80-20 to 60-40 is quite the jump. He's just not there financially yet, which then doubles back to when they talked at the reception and she asked him, "Are you financially stable have you been saving? And because he had not been, obviously, he's not able to now be 80-20 with her. So she tells him that she doesn't want to feel like a burden, right? She doesn't want to be kind of taken care of in that way. So she wants to be able to help out as well. They then talk about manscaping. He said he keeps it low and soft. His brother gave him some manscaping, I'm going to say condiments. Gave him some manscaping, God, why can't I think of the word? Gave him some manscaping shit to put together, probably shaving stuff and whatever the case. A salve, probably. A body butter for the booty, okay? They probably did something like that. So they are then hanging out later. And this is where shit gets real. And this is where it goes from, oh, they might could work to they're not gonna work. Right? Now remember, Lauren has said that she is blackity black, 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 and she is unapologetically black. She's gonna sit in her blackness. Orion has said the same terminology, but different, as far as him being an indigenous man. They're hanging out talking. Lauren asks him if he has ever said nigga. Now, she said the N-word, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because we really have to have a conversation about this. She asked him, have you ever said the word nigga? He said yes, but as a teenager, as a kid, it was very ignorantly. Sometimes it was when he was singing along with songs, yada, yada, yada. He said that his parents, some of the elders that were in his community, told him, you can't do that. Kudos to them, right? Y'all know if you're not black, you can't say nigga. Don't come in the comments asking me why. You know you can't. It's not up for debate. Anybody that comes in the comments saying that it's whatever the case, that they can't say it, you will be blocked. I'm not going to play this game with y'all. We're not going to play that game because y'all do it to be, y'all do it to get to troll. Not gonna do it. You know you can't say it, don't say it. So the fact that his parents and stuff told him he could not say it, he learned from that. He said it came with growth and maturity. Awesome. So she then says, can I punch you for my ancestors? He said, sure. She playfully punches him. She then said that she too has used derogatory words when she was younger, but she didn't know the words were derogatory as a kid, right? So he said, what, like redskin? She said, no, I didn't use that word. Because I didn't know what that meant. She then turns to him, starts laughing, and was like, oh, I get it now. Looking at your face. And she is laughing. She is sitting in her laughter. I could not believe she did that. Here's the thing. And when I was on Twitter, I saw all the conversations about, well, she didn't know it was offensive and she didn't know and blah blah blah, blue blue blue. That man literally, here's what's crazy about the way that y'all are doing backflips to defend this woman. He tells her, she said, I have said derogatory phrases as well as a child. I just didn't know they were. He then said, for example, i.e., colon, comma, dash, underscore, however you want to put it, like redskin, which insinuates what? It's offensive. She says, no, I didn't know what that meant. Then turns, and so it's not that she didn't know it was derogatory. She didn't know what it meant. That is verbatim out of her mouth. She then turns and looks at this man that is an indigenous man that has said that redskin is offensive to call somebody that. And then she looks at him and said, oh, I get it now, looking at your face, and laughs. Bitch, what? What? Because here's the thing. If he'd have turned and looked at your black ass and said, what, like nigga, mammy, coon, monkey, if he'd have said all the shit that we have gotten called for years, she'd have had a fucking fit. You punched this man for saying stuff back as a teenager. But for you to look in his face I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Could not believe it. I'm always going to be unapologetically black. I love being black. I think there's nothing better in the world, right? That's me. But aside from being unapologetically black, I am unapologetically me. And that means that I am honest and I'm going to keep it 1,000 with y'all. She was wrong. Lauren was wrong for this. So then he was like, wow, that was rough. She very condescendingly is like, was that rough? Was that rough? If he'd have said, yeah, nigga, it was, then what? Then how do we proceed from there? I tell you something's derogatory, you call me that, then do I get to call you something back now? Come on, Lauren. Come on, Lauren. So he then asked her, so then she was like, oh no, I just meant your face was sunburned around your nose. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, sis. You did not. You did not. That was a good attempt to cover it up, but you did not. So he then asked her, do you want to know the history lesson of why redskin is offensive? Now, the story that he told is not the story I have learned growing up, because I knew as a child that redskin was offensive to call somebody. Just like when people call Asians like, I don't think yellow skin is offensive. If it is, I'm sorry. I don't think yellow skin is offensive to say to somebody. I don't think. But it's the equivalent. You know what I mean? Like, it's offensive. I'm sorry, but I think at Lauren's age, you know that shit is wrong. You know that's wrong to say. So he gives a history lesson and said that the colonizers would scalp the Indians because it was more valuable than gold to have an Indian scalp, and that's where redskin came from. That is not what I grew up learning. I grew up learning that it was because the undertones in their skin is like more pinkish and red, and that's why. But hey, if that's what he said is the story, he's the indigenous person, we're gonna go with his story, okay? So she apologizes for offending him. She then asks how he differentiates what's a joke and being offended, or is it always offensive? And it's like, Lauren. So she then says, because as a black woman, she had to develop tough skin, and then, some jokes are just funny. Here's the thing. I don't know if you've been living in Denver too long. I don't know if you've been in Colorado for too long, but another race calling you something offensive or derogatory is never funny. I don't care how thick your skin is. It's never a joke. It's never a joke to me if a white person calls a black person a nigga. It's never a joke to me. It's never a joke to me when a white person calls a black person a coon or a monkey or a sambo or a jigaboo or any of this other shit that we get called by racist people. It's not funny. I don't care how thick your skin is. I am confusion watching this shit here. So he said that, he just doesn't believe in making fun out of your pain, and that's fine. There are some people that do. Lauren is one of them. I personally don't. But I mean, if somebody's offended by something, they're offended by it. I am never going to chastise somebody for being offended by being called a derogatory word. I think as a society, as a people in 2023, we are so quick to say that somebody is overreacting. We are so quick to say that somebody is being too sensitive. If somebody is offended by something, then they are. Who are you to tell somebody that they are being overly sensitive? Y'all were in the comments when Cameron said reservation, saying that, like, somebody was like, I go get my weed from the reservation. And it's like, nobody asked you. Like, I would never understand people that feel that they can quantify what somebody can or cannot be offended by. That man is offended. Let him be offended. He's not being sensitive. She called him a derogatory word and then laughed in his face and said, oh, I get it. That's like saying, I get the racist joke. No, that shit was funny, though. That's how, like, the way she was laughing. So she then asked if the conversation is uncomfortable. He said it's not. She said, I'm glad we had it. I don't know about you, but I feel good. He said he's heated. He's irritated by it. So she then said, well, I'm noticing the difference in you, your stature, your demeanor, your posture between when I, laughed in your face and said Redskin and when Cameron said reservation. And he said, well, there's a difference between the two words. And there is. There is. Now, y'all said that people from New Zealand have an issue with the Native Americans, with the indigenous people. Y'all have said that. So I'm going to take y'all word for that because I truly don't know. But I remember when Cameron said it, I was immediately uncomfortable. So he said, well, the difference is you are trying to minimalize what you said as if it's not a big deal, which she did. She did, y'all. She tried to minimalize it. She tried to make it seem as if it was trivial, it was a joke. Because she also then followed it up with, well, is it always offensive or is it sometimes a joke? Is it always? I'm telling you, I don't know if it's because Lauren's around too many white people up in Colorado, but you done lost your mind, sis. So she then says she's trying to figure out what is offensive and what's not. And this is when I was just kind of over it because this man is literally telling you what is offensive and what's not. So what Orion should do is the next time that she's in there cooking, come in there and say, okay, mammy, I see you. I see you, Aunt Jemima, when you got your scarf on. So then maybe you can learn. I don't understand this. And by her being a minority, for her to basically tell another minority that what he deems as offensive could be a joke and he shouldn't be offended, that was disgusting behavior. Completely disgusting. Then we find out that she was popping it for P just 2 months before, getting married. Now he don't want to sleep with you. I don't get it. I truly and utterly do not get what Lauren was thinking, what was going through her head, how she could possibly think that what she did is trivial and it's just as bad as what Cameron did. Cameron was wrong, 100%, absolutely. I think what Lauren did was way worse. Again, come in my comments with the bull, you will be blocked. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.